This first video is by Patrick CC. It's how The Rock held Hollywood hostage for 10 years straight. I'm not gonna lie, I've been hearing a lot of bad things about The Rock. Do y'all fuck with The Rock? I've been hearing he has like crazy ego problems now. Is that true? I don't know how true that is. Wasn't there a problem with The Rock and I forgot he existed? Okay, there's no way you forgot Dwayne Johnson The Rock existed. There's no way. There was a problem with Black Adam. He seems cool enough, but the Black Adam drama got me thinking different about bro. Yeah, didn't he drop out or something? I don't know if I'm fully wrong on this, but didn't he drop out because like it didn't do as good as he thought it did or it was gonna do? That's why he dropped out, right? You just giving up like that? And it didn't help that DC is just taking L's after L's. His ego's so big now. Yeah, I see people also talk like his ego's so big. I don't really be surprised, but I heard he has been wilding. So let's see this Patrick CC video. Let's see.
Major box office film every single. Dwayne The Rock Johnson has had a major box office film every single year for the.
Look at all these films. Oh my God. God. Crazy lineup.
Past 2 decades. Nearly all of them were an overwhelming financial success.
They were huge,
with
yeah.
the exception
They were all
of a few.
huge.
Over the years, The Rock has stamped himself as one of the most successful and beloved entertainers of all time,
Yeah.
worth a whopping $320 million.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. That's it. I'm sorry, but I thought at this point, like, The Rock would be worth like $1 billion or something. I'm not even saying that in like a malicious way or anything. I'm not saying like, oh, that's it. Like I'm saying like, that's it? I thought it would be way more.
He has Hollywood in a chokehold.
Thought he was
And
worth $1
although
billion?
many
That's what
people
I'm saying.
think The Rock is simply just this perfect, family-friendly brand that sold out, left the WWE, and was embraced with open arms into the film world, that couldn't be further from the truth. Every single time he entered a new industry, he was rejected and had to prove himself. And with his back against the
What the hell is this? Was my brother in theater?
wall, he formulated
on
a
Broadway
plan.
or something?
That plan would be the catalyst to him absolutely dominating Hollywood for the past
That's
10
not true,
years. Stay hydrated. Many of you got your first introduction to The Rock through the WWE.
I'm hydrated.
Even though he never saw himself pursuing this career, Dwayne Johnson was quite literally born to be a wrestler.
You know what's crazy? He was like 15 in this photo, if I'm not wrong. Genetics was pumping different back then. I don't even look like that now, and I'm like 5 years older than him at this point.
His father, Wade Douglas Bowles, was a former professional wrestler who
15, I'm
wrestled
skinny as
under
hell.
the ring name Rocky Johnson. Through the
Oh,
late
shit.
60s
I didn't even
to
know
mid
that.
70s, he was a major
Damn!
star in California. Rocky wrestled with the WWF
Oh wait, hold on. No, it is just hit his little dance.
in the 60s to
After he
mid
knocked him
70s. He
out.
was a major star in California. Rocky wrestled with the
He had a little foot shuffle
WWF
after he
in the
knocked him out.
1980s, where he and his partner Tony Atlas were the first black tag team champions in WWE history. But it wasn't just his father who has wrestling roots. The Rock's mother, Atta, was adopted into the most iconic Samoan wrestling family of all time, the
Damn.
Anoa'i family. Her father is wrestler High Chief Peter Maivia, and his wife Leah is one of wrestling's first female promoters, which makes The Rock
Damn.
related, through marriage of course, to the Wild Samoans, Yokozuna, Rikishi, Umaga, and Roman Reigns. It seemed like
Whoa, hold up, really? Hey there, Tommy NFG here. Just a little reminder to make sure to subscribe because only about 30% of you guys watching this are actually subscribed. Also tune into the Twitch streams every once in a while. You know, we have a lot of fun there. There's a lot of fun that goes on there. So, I'm ending it right here. Let's get back to the video. There's no way he's related to all of them.
deaths,
Rikishi too?
Yokozuna, Rikishi, Umaga, and Roman Reigns.
What?
It seemed like his
I didn't even
destiny
know
was
that.
written for him the moment he was born.
a
However,
crazy family. That's
The
a
Rock
crazy
did
lineup.
not want to be a wrestler.
Oh,
Growing
damn.
up, Johnson moved around a lot. He briefly spent his childhood in Auckland, New Zealand, then he moved to Charlotte, North Carolina briefly, then to Hamden,
You know,
Connecticut.
the worst thing you can ever do to somebody is like bringing their childhood flex up. I understand he's doing it for like the video. Bad, crazy teeth. Bad pictures right here. This is a bad picture.
where he attended elementary and middle school. When he was 12, they moved to Hawaii, where his mom's family lived. That's when it got rough, he says. His dad worked less, which sent them into poverty and led to fights with the family.
Must have
He
a
saw from a
significant
very
tattoo
young age
to
how
show they were
financially
family?
unstable
Oh,
a
okay.
wrestling career would be. Frustrated with being poor, he started stealing, then getting arrested. He began getting into fights with kids at school and turning into an angry kid. As a 13-year-old child, he was lost and lacking guidance. So the family relocated again to
Just
Nashville,
like me.
Tennessee before settling in Pennsylvania. Dwayne attended
Okay.
Freedom High School in Bethlehem Township in the Lehigh Valley. Freedom was his 4th high school in 3 years in 3 different states. Johnson found
Damn!
himself outside the principal's office at each school, frequently encountering conflict and participating in petty crime.
Yo, I never knew The Rock was like on thug timing. This man was a thug.
At the age of 17, he was arrested multiple times for fighting, theft, and check fraud. His life was on a fast track to nowhere until one teacher.
Yeah, it's this photo right here. He's oh, it says until one teacher changed his life. He's 15 or 16 right here, by the way.
After settling an argument with Jody Quick, the school's football coach, he asked Dwayne to play football for Liberty. On the football field, Johnson was given the structure and discipline his life otherwise lacked. Quick became the strong male figure Dwayne needed since his father, Rocky, was usually away working.
That's always nice. I like stories like that.
230-pound junior, Johnson wreaked havoc from the defensive line. He fell in love with the game and gave his life purpose. Coach Quick sat him down and said, "Listen, your family doesn't have any money, your grades are average. If you're going to get out of this town and make a different life for yourself, football is the vehicle." Dwayne's mentality did a 180 from being a
look, I respect, like, I was never on a sports team or anything like that, but I really respect coaches like that. I really respect coaches like that. I be seeing like NBA players and whatever players, they literally get raised by some of their coaches. That's how much coaches believe in them. So I really like coaches like that.
Rebellious criminal to a fully focused and determined young
best
man
teachers of the school,
making.
Better than the actual
He became
teachers.
A three-sport athlete. Football, wrestling, and track and field. Liberty High School competed in the Eastern Pennsylvania Conference, in which the wrestling programs have been ranked best in the nation by Win Magazine, and have been described as among the nation's best in the sport for nearly 3 decades. And despite his wrestling talents, football was where his heart was. Dwayne had only played for 2 years, but he drew the attention of NCAA Division I collegiate programs. College football recruiters ranked him among the nation's top 10 high school defensive tackles. He received offers from Penn State, UCLA, Clemson, Florida State, and dozens of other top programs, but he eventually accepted a full athletic scholarship from the University of Miami, whose football program was then one of the best in the nation. In 1990, he made an amazing first impression to the Miami coaches. He was fast, he was strong, and he worked harder than anyone. But before he got to play his first game, he suffered a shoulder injury, which made the coaches shift their focus from Dwayne to Warren Sapp, who would go on to be an NFL Hall of Famer. Over the years...
Oh, nah. See, this is why, bro, sports is the most volatile career. Probably next to a social media influencer. Like, sports is so volatile. You get one injury, you're done. You are out, and nobody even remembers you.
Years, he had 4 knee surgeries and lived in the shadow of Sapp. He ended his Miami career with 78 tackles and 4 sacks. No NFL coaches wanted to take a chance on him. However, the Calgary Stampeders in the Canadian Football League gave him a shot. He was making $250 Canadian per week, which is basically...
Why does The Rock right here look older than The Rock right now?
Equal to minimum.
It's just the beard. It has to be the
wage,
facial hair.
But it didn't last long.
Oh, no. Okay, no. You can't tell me I'm lying. This man looks older here than he ever has. And he is what, like 20? He was in college right here. Big ass nigga.
Just 2 months after being signed to the practice roster, he was cut. He returned home to Tampa in 1995 with $7 in his pocket and no future. Dwayne really thought the NFL was going to be his career, and he fell into a deep depression when he realized his dreams were not going to come to fruition. The only backup plan was wrestling. However, the instability of finances and constant traveling destroyed their family and his childhood. His father did not want Dwayne to go down that path, but Dwayne had run out of options, and eventually his father gave in and decided to train him. In 1996, Dwayne began his professional wrestling career. It took him less than 1 year to get signed to the WWF for obvious reasons. He was the son...
Bro, and I'm just thinking while he's lifting right here, W print by the way, but I'm thinking when he's lifting right here, this is like, they probably most likely weren't using any enhancers, they weren't using pre-workouts, because even now, I be using pre-workout and stuff. I know people say it's not good for you when you work out or lift, but I be using it not every time, or they didn't have any, they weren't using like steroids and shit. It definitely wasn't accessible back then. It's very common now. But
son and grandson of 2 wrestling legends. He didn't have to grind in amateur leagues as long as other people. November 17th, 1996, Madison Square Garden, the Survivor Series. He made his...
Oh my god, okay.
November 17th, 1996, Madison Square Garden.
Y'all see wrestling? Y'all see how big WWE was? People were... I think this was even bigger when it was big, when we were younger. And I remember wrestling was huge.
The Survivor Series. He made his WWF debut as Rocky Maivia, combining his father and grandfather's ring names. Nicknamed the Blue Chipper, Johnson was hyped as WWF's first third-generation wrestler and was pushed heavily despite his wrestling inexperience. In an 8-man elimination tag match, Rocky secured the victory. 3 months later, he won the company's Intercontinental Championship and wrestled his first WrestleMania match the following month. However, fans did not accept him with open arms.
Rocky sucks.
Damn. Yo, what type of... Whoever was recording this video, they know what they were doing.
Rocky sucks. Rocky
First
sucks.
fucking shot was an ass shot. You know damn well. You know damn well you could have started the recording with his upper body.
WWF fans became increasingly hostile towards Maivia.
See, and it was also wild back then, because now, bro, niggas are so introverted and shit. So they can't communicate regularly. Some of y'all know for a fact can't even have a regular conversation. They wouldn't be doing this. They'd be scared to.
Of Die Rocky Die.
He did that on purpose? I know.
Matches. As many of you know, wrestling is scripted, and the outcomes are predetermined. It's like a live-action reality show. But one thing that is not fake about wrestling is the fan engagement. Wrestlers get their fan base from their image or personality displayed
True.
on the microphone. If the fans do not like you, and the show's writers can't
Rock is
find a
scary,
way
but
for
he's
you to
nice.
get on their good side, you will lose your job. Rocky Maivia was a clean-cut, happy-go-lucky good guy who wasn't resonating with the audience. After losing his Intercontinental
people want a
Championship
villain.
and suffering a legitimate knee injury, Johnson disappeared from television for months. But he wasn't going to let the WWF writers ruin his chances of him being a star. It was time for a
WWE be
rebrand.
fake. Yeah,
In
people
August
get this bent.
1997, he returned, but with a noticeably more aggressive demeanor, lashing out at the audience whenever they booed him. He deaded the Rocky Maivia
Oh, the
name
classic. Hold on, the classic.
demeanor, lashing out at the audience
Do it.
whenever they booed him. He
Classic
deaded the
eyebrow
Rocky
raise.
Maivia name and referred to himself in the third person as The Rock. He had officially turned heel, which is a wrestling term for a wrestler portraying a villain or acting as an antagonist. Now portraying a self-absorbed narcissist, The Rock regularly insulted the audience, fellow wrestlers, and interviewers whenever he could. The character worked because it came
It was a
naturally
good
to
character,
him,
it was.
and it didn't take long for the audience to start warming up to his newfound persona. He didn't know it then, but he was already preparing himself for Hollywood. From 1997 to 2002, The Rock became a phenomenon, dubbed the People's Champion. He was debatably the most beloved wrestler in the industry.
Bring your Rudy Poo candy asses. Just bring it. Oh my God! Just bring it. If you're some man.
This man was really holding the arena down. Vine boom. Iconic shut up bitch. Is it right here? Is this actually the clip? It's not. It's
You're
not.
not undisputed champion, so
Oh, here
shut
it-
up, bitch.
From the single
Hold on, I gotta rewind that for the one time.
You're not undisputed champion, so shut up, bitch.
Hey, that's a
From
classic
the
right
single
there.
eyebrow raise to his numerous catchphrases to his over-exaggerated mannerisms, The Rock established himself as the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
when I was younger,
At
I
this
definitely
point in
thought
his
this was
career,
real.
The Rock had surpassed the
I definitely
legacy
thought
of
they weren't
anyone in
characters.
his heritage, having become one of the most decorated champions in WWE history. Also in the early 2000s, wrestling was at its peak in average viewership and ratings. The Rock
Damn! See, I told you. Like I said, I knew it because I saw that arena and it was like in the, what did they say? In like the 90s. That was huge. I don't even remember wrestling being that big when I was
being
younger.
the most charismatic and marketable wrestler at the most popular time in wrestling history was a perfect storm that would change his life forever. He figured the transition from wrestling to acting wouldn't be that hard. After all, wrestling is acting, and most of the time it's live, so you only get one take. He began dabbling in TV with cameos on That 70s Show, Star Trek Voyager, and Saturday Night Live. In fact, after his SNL debut,
Fell the fuck
one of the
off.
most
Saturday
respected
Night Live
film critics of
fell
all
off.
time, Roger Ebert, said this.
Have you met The Rock before? This guy is going to be a major movie star. He should get out of wrestling as soon as possible.
That prediction couldn't have been more true. In 2001, Dwayne made his first
What
feature
is
film
that?
debut in The Mummy Returns, which grossed
Oh no, it's
roughly
literally called The Mummy Returns.
$435
Damn.
million at the box office. Despite only having
CGI was
15
different
minutes
back
of
then,
screen
and
time,
not in a
Johnson
good
was
way.
paid $5.5 million for his portrayal of the Scorpion King.
Oh, wow.
This salary
That is a
earned him
payday.
an
That's even
entry
huge
into
now.
the Guinness Book of World Records as the highest payment for an untested actor.
was about to say,
This
that's-
just
that's
goes to
even
show
huge
you
now.
how big of a superstar he was and how much his brand was worth. He reprised his
Yeah, the
role as the
motion.
Scorpion King in the prequel the following year, earning over $180 million at the box office. But again,
Okay.
wrestling fans were not happy with his newfound Hollywood success. When he returned to wrestling at 2002 SummerSlam, he received a negative crowd response during his match. When he tried to do a post-show speech, the crowd within the stadium booed him. This put a sour taste in his mouth, and The Rock would disappear from wrestling for another year.
What?
To make matters worse,
Bro, people were so different back then. They really mad for him. They were really mad for people getting bags. That is L hating. I'm usually like an advocate for hating. What type of shit is that? What is that?
His 2003 film The Rundown
hating
was
for
considered
nothing?
a
That is
flop
legit
since
hating
the
for
film
nothing.
did not profit. This left him in limbo,
Oh, wow.
feeling unsure of which career
Yo,
to
why is
pursue.
The Rock always like wearing this now? He's always like in a jungle setting in every movie. This must have been when it started.
His heart was still in wrestling, but he needed a rebrand for the second time, and that's exactly what he was
No,
going
you
to
just
do.
said that to me,
In 2003, The Rock turned heel again and started a new
Leonardo?
persona, dubbed Hollywood Rock. With a new look and a shaved head, his new persona as a snobby Hollywood jock who looks down on the wrestling community earned him a lot of haters, but you could tell he was having fun and wasn't afraid to
He was
lean
biting
even
into the
harder
hate.
into this character.
definitely
He
biting
eventually
into it.
won over the audience because of his charisma and hilarious jokes. Plus, he was still a legend at this point, so it was hard
What
to
was he
pretend to
doing
hate
right
him
there?
for much longer.
What was
Many
that?
wrestling fans think The Rock is at his best when he is in his Attitude Era. Sadly for them, this was all very short-lived. The Rock's contract with the WWE ended in 2004, and he quietly retired without making a big announcement. The 32-year-old
That was a good time to
knew putting
retire.
his
He
body
did his
on
thing.
the line would
He
ultimately
definitely did his thing. That was a good time.
catch up to him. This decision would allow him to officially start his
Not too short, not too
full-time
long.
Hollywood acting career. Even though Dwayne was a superstar, he struggled to find success early on as an actor. From 2004 to
Rock probably
2006,
revived
he
the
starred in Walking
revived the
Tall,
Vine boom.
which was received well by fans but hated
never
by
watched
critics.
this.
He had some throwaway roles like the crime comedy Be Cool and the film adaptation of the popular video game Doom, which failed to break even financially. However, the comedy thriller Southland Tales and Gridiron Gang performed a little bit better financially, but none of these films indicated that The Rock had a promising career ahead of him. Realizing his career was looking shaky, he decided to change his persona for
Bro, The Rock with hair is so uncanny. See what I mean when I say some people just look better bald? I wouldn't look better bald. The Rock, you could tell by looking at him, he would look better bald. Whatever is going on here.
the third time. Now he would take on the role as the Gentle Giant. He slimmed down his appearance, which, let's be
Tommy and
honest,
Back.
even a
Okay.
slim version of The
Appreciate it,
Rock is
Elmo.
still a 200-plus pound beast. But he started seeing box office success when he appeared in
Oh, the
more
Game Plan. I love this movie. The Game Plan. I love this movie.
kid-friendly films like Walt Disney's The Game Plan
1 million
and Race to
Tommy
Witch
Should Go
Mountain,
Bald.
along with Get
Yeah, how about
Smart
no?
and The Tooth Fairy, all of
Let's
which
see. Yeah, I definitely watched the Game Plan. Race to. I didn't watch this. Get Smart. Too Fair. I watched that. So I watched two of these.
made over $100
W
million
Game
at
Plan,
the
go to
box
movie?
office. The only problem with these movies is that he
He's
wasn't
pulling it
really
in.
acting. The Rock is actually the Tooth Fairy. But seriously, The
Oh, wait,
Rock
what?
is known in real life as being a really nice guy, very friendly,
about to say.
and supportive. So in these movies, he's just being casted as himself. Plus, he really wanted to be in action movies since, he's The Rock. After 3 family films in a row, he was faced with yet another problem of boxing himself into a genre that would be hard for him to escape from. So he called a meeting with his agents and developed a vision to take Hollywood hostage. He wanted to be Will
Whoa.
Smith, but different and bigger. I don't know what that means, he said, but I can see it, and I have these. He held up his hands, and I need everybody to see it with me. His agents had no idea what he was talking about.
Bro, did this man went like, I need y'all to see with me. Okay? I need y'all. That's interesting. Maybe I need to do that. I just need to be here and be like, I'm about to take over YouTube or Twitch or something. I need to do that because I always see clips of people say, like, people that get big before anything, they'll be like, oh, I'm about to take over this. Like, I have everything locked and it's cool to see. But everybody says that at the same time.
So The Rock fired them and got a new team. The plan was to
He
avoid
fired all of his
family-friendly
agents
films
too?
for a while. This
What?
plan was not about making money. It was about grabbing Hollywood by the balls and making it his. So he decided to change his image and kickstart his 4th time reinventing himself.
scary.
He shaved his head bald for good, then put on a lot of muscle mass and turned into a more rugged warrior, rather than his previous handsome chiseled
Oh, what? Oh, so this was him. This was Jungle era.
model.
Now, or the new Rock is like the one where he's in every fucking. The new Rock is the one where he's in every fucking jungle movie. Every jungle movie with like the same fit and stuff.
making it his. So he decided to change his image and kickstart his 4th time reinventing himself. He shaved his head bald for good, then put on a lot of muscle mass and turned into a more rugged warrior, rather than his previous handsome chiseled model
No, it
look.
did work,
He
though.
pursued
It
more
did work.
action films. The Other Guys was a buddy comedy that saw success and was a step in the right direction, but the most important role of his whole career up until this point was Faster. This was the first time he had a lead role in an action film after
Faster?
Doom flopped. Faster was an interesting film. The Rock was a
I was
criminal
about to say, does he mean Fast and Furious?
seeking vengeance. He was cold-blooded and didn't have much dialogue in the whole film. It didn't perform that well financially, but it was a transition point for him because he
He's
was
plays
about
the
to get
same
the
character
role
for
that
at
would
least 8
kickstart
years
his
straight,
Hollywood
and then changes
takeover.
the character.
Fast 5, 2011.
Oh,
Dwayne
yeah,
entered
here
the
we go.
Fast and Furious franchise as Luke Hobbs. Hobbs is a diplomatic security service agent who enters the movie
Bro, I heard they're making another one of this. When are they gonna have the Fast and Furious series? It would have been perfect. I didn't even, bro. There's so many Fast and Furious series that I don't even know what's going on. I don't even remember. I obviously watched like probably the first 5. And after that, no, and then 7, and I skipped 6, and then my friend wanted to watch in the movie theater. So I remember when I was younger, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna search up what happened in this movie. I don't even know what's happening in the timeline at this point. The Rock Cinematic Universe, it really is this universe though. Him and Vin Diesel. I don't know. Is anybody caught up? Because
of
I'm
3
not.
DEA agents.
Fuck no.
But his form
No.
of interrogating a criminal
No.
is by throwing them around the
Movie was
room and
boring.
beating the snot out of them until they talk. The Fast franchise was already super successful at this point, and this one was their peak so far, $640 million in the global box office.
Damn.
Plus, this film is widely regarded by fans as the best out of the dozen. And as many of you know,
good movie,
landing
yeah.
a permanent role in an action film franchise as big as
Best?
this
Yeah.
is basically like hitting the Hollywood lottery. You become known and loved all around the world and could easily have a stable career. This was exactly what The Rock needed to kick his career into overdrive. From
Okay.
2012 to 2016, Dwayne had to prove to the world that he was here to stay, and he did just that. He had a brief return to wrestling to host WrestleMania 30 and have an iconic title match against John Cena. It was his first bout in over 7 years.
I didn't even remember him coming back like this.
He got an offer to perform in front of 85,000 people live, and he couldn't refuse. But he never had any intentions on staying long term. In that same year, 2013, he did 5 movies. Snitch,
I knew
which
he
some
came back.
consider to be his most underrated acting
What is Snitch? Oh,
performance.
you
G.I.
said underrated. I've never heard of that.
Joe Retaliation, Empire State, Pain and Gain, Fast and Furious 6. By the end of 2013, Forbes...
So this man just went full nuts and butts and just did every like he was making the type of movies where you wanted to feel badass as a kid, right? So whenever you wanted to feel badass, you would sit there and watch a Rock movie with a bunch of explosions and shooting and stuff, and I was definitely involved in it too. I didn't watch all those though, but I was definitely a
named
part
Johnson the top
Those people were a part
grossing
of it.
actor, with his films
Okay.
collectively bringing in $1.3 billion worldwide.
Damn.
In 2014, he did Hercules. In 2015, he did Furious 7 and San Andreas. In 2016, Central
San Andreas is a good
Intelligence.
movie.
The Rock was
That's a good
getting a
movie,
lead
Central
role in
Intelligence.
a
I like
major
it.
action film each year. His fame was at an all-time high, and he successfully rebranded himself as
Michael
the
Bay
rugged
movie.
action star that's also sensitive that he knew he deserved to be. But this was only the beginning. The real takeover was about to begin when he started his production company, Seven Bucks Productions.
He has a production
But
company?
Before I get into that, there's something very important to consider.
Free
Over the
sponsor.
span of what was
Never
now
mind.
15 years in Hollywood, Dwayne has created a reputation for being a hardworking and reliable employee. In a space where actors notoriously show up late to set, or come in intoxicated and hungover, or just generally act like
What? Actors be coming in drunk? See, there's a difference with like content creators, like if they come in like fucking tired or some shit. But like you were on a full-fledged set, and you have an entire crew that needs to get paid. The movie needs to make the amount it does, and you're coming in drunk. That's wild. You cannot function.
has managed to stay focused and complete the task at hand, showing up to work on time while getting along with fellow cast members and crew. He will remember everybody's name, from craft services to the camera operators.
That's cool.
The Rock is every producer and director's dream employee.
I don't drink me
Rampage
either.
director Brad Payton, who has directed Johnson 3 times now, broke down exactly why every filmmaker should have him on their team. Dwayne is one of those guys where you present the challenge and he is going to succeed come hell or high water. When I need Dwayne to do something that's difficult, it's the equivalent of being able to be, you see that wall? I need you to run through that wall. And he's like, that wall? And I'm like, yeah, that wall. And he's like, F that wall. And I'm like, all right, roll camera. Here we go. Directors will tell him to redo
See,
a line.
the funny thing is, like I feel like employers expect their employees to be like that, but there's a difference. This is it's a completely different topic. Bosses and managers will expect their employees to be like that, and it's like, bro, unless you pay me fucking the Rock salary, I'm not doing that. I remember my manager really used to want me to do that. My manager, when I was working, really used to want me to like fucking, it would like go crazy, and I'm like, bro, I'm not getting paid enough. I was getting like paid $11.50.
Just does it. No questions, no
They
fights.
treat workers like
He's
shit. I mean,
excited
it's
to
always like
work
that.
and brings good energy around him. This is a huge reason why he gets casted for so many films. The trade-off is that he basically has to play the same character in
was
every
about to
film,
say.
but that's exactly
So-
what he wants. he basically has
Yo,
to
this fit is getting kind of outplayed, Mr. Johnson. This fit.
play the same character in every film, but that's exactly what he wants. No one's going to see me play a borderline psychopath suffering from depression, he says. My problem is I have a
That might work.
relationship with an audience around the world. For years I've built a trust with them that they're going to come to my movies and feel good. So every once in a while you have to drop this card, which is you're going to have to find another actor. We need to figure something out. Otherwise, I'm not going to do the movie. Although The Rock is extremely limited in the roles he will play, he's
That's
consistent
interesting.
and he sticks
Okay.
to his strengths, which is respectable. So when you combine his work ethic, extreme likability, lack of problematic qualities, and a well-oiled machine of people behind him, what you get is the biggest Hollywood takeover of all time. Seven Bucks Productions is the name of his film studio that was founded in 2012 but really kicked into gear around 2016 and 2017. His production studio will create the vision for a film that has The Rock as the lead role. Since they know his strengths and weaknesses as an actor, they can write the scripts and produce the scenes in a way that benefits him the most, which usually leads to reboots of old movies or using other recognizable brands. These movies are basically safe investments. Plus, he doesn't have to audition for the role since it's literally written for him, which saves a lot of time. From there, they will
Bro, but it's getting played out though. Okay, so Mr. Rocky, all you have to do is play a jungle adventure dressed in a kayak colored fit. That's the best thing I read all day. That is so facts. They really have this man. They probably, bro, every single role he gets, that's all I could think of. All I could think of. It's just the same fit. They're like, all right, you know what to do. You know, he probably just comes in the set and they're like, they nod their head, and he nods his head, and then after that, you know what happens after. We come out with another fucking Jumanji 12.0, whatever jungle movie's in.
partner with another production studio, such as Paramount Pictures, Columbia Pictures, New Line Cinema, DC, Disney, or any smaller company to produce the films. Since they are partnering, that means Dwayne has ownership in the films he is making. It's also worth mentioning that likely means he is investing his own money into the films as well, risking tens of millions of
he has
dollars.
to be like a billionaire.
Where most actors are likely only getting a salary, Dwayne is getting royalties for a lifetime.
Tom
Plus,
Cruise.
he's building up the value of his company. Similar to what Rob Dyrdek did. He produced Ridiculousness through his own company for 10 years, then sold it for $200 million. So while
Damn.
The Rock is on set filming a movie, his team already knows exactly how long it's going to take and will be ready for him to film the next movie
Bro's
as soon as
making
he
money
is
like
done
that.
with the current one. For example, in 2017 and 2018, he released these 4 films: Baywatch, Jumanji, Rampage, and Skyscraper. Baywatch began filming in February 2016 all over the USA. 7 months later, in September of 2016, Jumanji began filming in Hawaii. So once The Rock is done
Damn.
with Baywatch, he goes over to Hawaii and begins the next film. Then 7 months
See,
after
that's
Jumanji,
like-
in April of 2017, he goes to Chicago to film Rampage.
See, that is you can't even done that is an insane work ethic. Y'all know how much how hard it is to get through a movie set for actors, like it's or movie production. That is extremely hard.
Then 4 months later, in August of 2017, he goes to Vancouver to film Skyscraper. And also, while he's working on these films, he's doing promo tours and press runs for the previous ones.
Damn.
There's no downtime,
That's
there
past
are no
hustling.
auditions, there's
Yeah,
no
it is.
preparation for a new character. The Rock has turned his brand into a machine that uses the same formula in every film.
Oh, that probably is why it's easy. Yeah, that makes sense. That probably is why it's easier because like it's just the same character. He's just doing the same thing. He's probably used to it at
And
that
pumps
point.
out 2 to 3 movies per year that are generating hundreds of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, during all of this, his team is writing and pitching movies 2 to 5 years in the future, so The Rock never has to have a moment where he is not filming. From 2017 to 2022, they released 14 movies.
Oh
nearly
my
3
God!
blockbuster movies per year, and they have dozens more planned for the future. But the most important and life
Wait, let me go back to those plans.
blockbuster movies per year, and they have dozens more planned for the
Untitled Red Notice film, Teddy and the Guardians of the Night, Johnny Henry and the Statesman, 7, San Andreas 2. Oh, I actually kind of want to watch that. Damn, Jungle Cruise sequel? Oh, come on. Another Jungle movie? Really, Dwayne? Bro, this is going to be released probably in like 2030 or something. Really, Dwayne? The future Cocomelon kitties that are grown up, that are going to grow up with these movies, they might like it, I guess.
future.
That's gonna be
But
the
the
first
most
time seeing
important and life-changing role was his portrayal of DC Comics anti-hero Black Adam. However, things kind
never
of
even
ended
watched
in a
this. That's the funny
disaster,
thing. I never
and
watched
many
this.
are starting to question if The Rock's ego is
Yeah, the
starting
ego
to
problem.
self-sabotage. All the way back in 2006, Johnson was initially approached to portray the character Shazam, but he expressed expressed interest in the film's antagonist, Black Adam. By 2014, development for the series finally began when Warner Bros. And DC began planning a slate of superhero films for its shared universe, the DC Extended Universe. That same year, Johnson confirmed his attachment to the film and decided he ultimately wanted to play Black Adam. To reiterate, getting a lead role as a superhero or a villain is probably the most coveted.
Is that? I was about to say, is that Patrick Bateman? Oh my god, what's the actor's name? Am I dumb? Christian Bale. Oh my god, yeah, it's Christian Bale. Oh my god, I'm dumb. I'm so stupid. I don't know why, I just had a brain fart there. Okay, cut that out. Goodbye.
To reiterate, getting a lead role as a superhero or a villain is probably the most coveted position in an actor's career.
Easily.
DC and Marvel actors will...
It's a pretty hard training.
I mean, bro, with the way he looks, he probably could. This nigga probably could pass every military test in the world.
Is probably the most coveted position in an actor's career. DC and Marvel actors will receive praise for the next century for their roles. If you hit big in one of these movies, you are legitimately set for life. So it's obvious why Dwayne wanted it so bad. However,
he didn't have to work ever since after the first Iron Man.
Johnson began having issues with the movie's direction. When the first draft of the movie came to us, it was a combination of Black Adam and Shazam, two origin stories in one movie.
That's
literally
cool.
Everyone involved in the production loved the script and were ready to greenlight the movie, besides The Rock. He felt like he would be doing Black Adam a disservice, so he petitioned for Adam to get his own separate film. Warner Bros. Trusted him. They took him out of Shazam and put a Black Adam solo movie in development. This is where chaos ensued. Firstly, Johnson was set to produce the film with
so that's what happened? I thought it was just... I didn't even know that.
Of $7
I thought it was different.
Along with Beau Flynn and Flynn Picture Co., meaning Johnson had direct control over everything.
Oh no.
He used this control to acquire writer Adam Sitzkiel, who co-wrote Johnson's Rampage in 2018. Adam would write the screenplay for Black Adam. Once the script was completed, Johnson recruited director Jaume Collet Serra, who he worked alongside on Jungle Cruise. At this point, Johnson had received the solo project he wanted and hired the team he wanted. All that was left to do was produce the film. However, due to the pandemic and commitments to the film Jumanji and Red Notice, production for Black Adam was delayed, which led to fans being disappointed. Initially, Johnson was first meant to appear as Black Adam in Suicide Squad in 2021, but these plans were abandoned when writer and director Gavin O'Connor left the film in 2018. Filming for Black Adam was completed sometime in mid-22 and was released in October of that year, and some consider it to be a flop. The movie cost about $200 million to produce and was said to have at least a $100 million marketing cost. Sources at Warner Bros. Say the movie will break even at $400 million. With the box office numbers totaling $393 million, it looks like the movie didn't profit. Plus,
wait, hold up. Did I miss something?
The box office numbers totaling $393 million, it looks like the movie didn't profit.
Gross worldwide, $393 million, that's profit, right? The budget's $195 mil, they made double that, basically. Did I miss something?
Cost. So $100 million to produce and was said to have at least a $100 million marketing cost.
$100 million marketing cost. So even if 295 mil?
Sources at Warner Bros. Say the movie will break even at $400 million.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
With the box office numbers totaling $393 million, it looks like the movie didn't profit. Plus, most of the reception from fans and critics was that it was just okay, average.
Bro, I heard so many people shit-talking this when this came out on TikTok. So many people was just clowning it.
Which is on par for what The Rock is known to deliver. But many question if The Rock had not taken full creative control over this movie, if it would have maybe portrayed Black Adam as more of a dark, sinister anti-hero. Maybe The Rock wasn't best for this role and fell short on his promises. Maybe his ego is finally catching up to him. It also doesn't help that he had a public feud with Vin Diesel that made him exit the Fast franchise. During the filming of The Fate and the Furious, the 8th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, Johnson hinted at trouble behind the scenes. In a now deleted Instagram post, he called out some of his male co-stars, sparking a feud between him and both Tyrese Gibson and Vin Diesel. When the film came out, viewers noticed their scenes were shot in such a way that indicated they may not have been on set at the same time, which was true. They were never on set together. Dwayne says their beef came down to a disagreement about professionalism. Vin and I had a few discussions, including an important face-to-face in my trailer, he says, and what I came to realize is that we have a fundamental difference in philosophies on how we approach movies.
Yo, two big-ass fucking ginormic planet egos crashing right here. This could never go good. This can never go good. That's why they say you can never... What do they say? The same magnet can't connect or whatever. They're both like very similar. They both definitely have huge egos like that, and them clashing like that was only going to lead to what happened.
Movie making and collaborating. That
Rock
information
is a
didn't
level
really help
100
fans
boss.
understand what was happening. Diesel later tried to make amends and reintroduce Johnson to the Fast and Furious franchise. However, Dwayne, although he
That's
regrets
why
making
John
that initial
Cena was in the
Instagram
most
post,
recent
adamantly
one. If it wasn't for the beef, The Rock would have been in the most recent Fast and Furious.
See, the crazy thing about that is, like, you're saying that, I didn't even know he was in it. John Cena was in the Fast and Furious? I mean, alright, that's cool. I didn't even know that.
franchise. However, Dwayne, although he regrets making that initial Instagram post, adamantly declined the offer and cemented that his time with the franchise was over.
Oh, yeah,
This has
GGs.
led many to believe that The Rock is starting to walk away from any project where he doesn't call all of the shots. At the same time, maybe he does deserve to call the shots. In just 5 years, 7 Bucks Productions has generated $3.3 billion in worldwide box office revenue. Dwayne Johnson is determined to outwork anyone who wants to compete with him. None of this success was handed to him. He was not lucky. He came from nothing and had been rejected and failed in every single industry he started in. And instead of wallowing in his sadness, he did the opposite. He
Some of y'all need to
reshaped
take
and
a page out of his book. That's what I'm trying to
his
think of.
image multiple times,
Just gotta do it.
developed
Just
an
gotta keep
incredible
going.
work ethic, brings positive energy to everyone around him, and stays out of controversy. Sure, he doesn't test himself creatively, but he sticks to what he's good at and what his fans expect from him. Now at 50 years old,
Yeah.
he's created a $300 million machine that will continue to work in his favor for years to come, and he built it all with his own 2 hands.
Great video right here by Patrick CC. That was an amazing video. Yeah, that's very interesting. I feel like The Rock it's like a good ice cream flavor, right? It's like vanilla, or maybe vanilla with sprinkles, or maybe something else. Like the 3 classic options. You got vanilla, chocolate, whatever, strawberry. Pick your one. That's how I feel about The Rock. You know, people are always going to enjoy one of those flavors, right? They kind of all combine together good. And but the problem is the ego shit. That'll get you. See, you know the problem? The problem is when like fucking content creators and YouTubers are having egos. Once I started seeing that, I was like, yeah, it's over. It's over. You know, for a fact, if a YouTuber or Twitch streamer, whatever, has an ego, they're gonna have an ego. And a little ego is good. It's cool, obviously, but I just don't like that. That definitely seemed like a type of some type of crazy ego shit he was doing, whatever he was doing at the end. When you have an ego moment like that, it's like you pushing the ego too far. You can push your ego on people, not too far.